Alright everybody, this is Nathan Pollard. I'm here to do a Microteach on Dazed and Confused. It was released in 1993, written and directed by Richard Linklater, and it stars Jason London, Matthew McConaughey, Ben Affleck, and quite a few others. So to get started, let's go into the movie summary. It starts set in May of '76 on the last day of school, and they spend that time hazing freshmen starting the summer in Texas, planning what they're going to do for the evening and a little bit beyond. It's a conglomeration of 1970s cliche. The main focus is sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and a lot of people seem to feel that that's pretty much when the 70s, that sums up the 70s. Everyone's wearing long hair, bell bottoms, driving around in classic cars. The director did a great job in infusing the lingo, the words and everything, the slang of the time and the mannerisms and how the actors carried them and actresses carried themselves into a very realistic portrayal of 1970s that people can relate to. Funny thing about this movie, there's no plot. There's no climax to the story. It's just a day in the life. Follow me and let's see what happens. Because of that, it has captured a following of people, a cult. It's a cult flick, if you will, and it seems to be popular as much now as it was when it came out in '93. But with all of that said, there's quite a few cultural themes captured in the movie, and I'd like to go and highlight some of those now. First and foremost, a thing that jumped to my mind was carefree attitude. You got to keep in mind that these characters are children of the hippie, so they watched their parents grow and experiment and do, and now they are coming of age to a point where they feel that that's what they want to do, and so they are, which is a major theme that occurred in the 1970s. Additionally, there was some major civil rights and equal opportunity events going on, and they mention in the movie taking a pledge to the football team, and the quarterback feels that this is an infringement on his rights, and it's neo-McCarthyism, which I had to look up, meant disloyalty or subversion on the grounds of the coaching staff to the players. So they're dealing with the civil rights of that, and whether it is or isn't rights infringement, and he as an individual is weighing the pros and cons of making that choice. Additionally, there's a conversation with the ladies with regards to Gilligan's Island and the equality on the show, because there's so many males to females in the ratio, and whether they're properly represented or if it's fair in their own minds. And the second wave of feminism was going on during the 1970s, which I feel is why they captured that conversation as they did in the movie. With regards to politics, there was Watergate and Vietnam were both major impacting events during that time, and there's references to them in the movie. One with regard to Woodward Bernstein and Deep Throat, and the other one had to do with one of the teachers, Mr. Payne, and his experiences in the jungle. The final main thing that came to mind was the soundtrack, the media, the music. It pretty much defines that era, whether it be Aerosmith or Foghat, all those guys that were playing of the time. When you go and hear that music, you immediately think, wow, it's the 70s. Yeah. Moving on, my conclusions. Basically, there's a lot of things going on in the 70s, and this movie, Dazed and Confused, captures that in a way that people can relate to. Um, it was also a story of finding yourself, if you will, doing that little experimentation, whether it be legal or illegal, and also dealing with the consequences of those choices. But I had a good time doing this. It was definitely a great experience analyzing this movie, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thanks.